All right, folks, welcome back to another edition. Rob, we are back and we are back better than ever. How the hell are you?
Good. Over yourself, Tom.
We're doing good, buddy. We're doing good. We actually spent some time together this weekend.
Yes, we did.
We sure did. We well, let's talk about pro golf first, and then we'll get to the old Tinley Park golf show. Uh,
Sounds good.
yeah, how about did you catch most or any of the AT&T Pro-Am?
I did. I did. I most watched a good amount of it yesterday. It's really hoping for Spieth to come through, but it's disappointing. But it was good to see him playing good. But I didn't realize. Did you know he was in the hospital last week?
No, for what?
Yeah. He had like a stomach bug. That's why he had a. Well, that's why he played bad last week and missed the cut. So
Yeah.
yeah. But anyways, no. Yeah, I was. That was hard. I really thought the putt on 16 was going to drop, and then when it didn't, and then the tee shot at 17 sounded so good but so short. And then once he did that one-handed driver on 18, I knew it was over. But
Yeah.
Hoagie's approach shot on 16, I can't believe that didn't roll in. That was sick.
Super sick. Spieth, that was super unexpected. I thought he for sure had that thing wrapped up. Just the way he was playing. You're right. That putt on 16 just had like it was weird too. It got like to an inch outside the hole, and then it just had like a ton of L2 spin on it and just like dove, broke right in front of the hole. Um, I knew he was kind of going to throw like a little fit and look at Michael and say something or whatever. But yeah, his tee shot on 17 was also suspect. I
Mm-hmm.
think I saw the fried egg. Um, tweeted a picture of that and just said caught it a groove high.
I
Um,
didn't see that.
yeah, it was pretty funny. Yeah, that was bizarre. But then again, like it just keeps happening, man. We keep having these
Yeah.
first time winners, and I think these stories they're awesome. Another story, the whole Mark Baldwin Ryan French story,
Yeah.
that was
That
awesome
was
for
that was fun to follow.
dude. It was super fun. I mean, can you imagine? Especially just like in Ryan's shoes, caddying, like experiencing that whole thing. Obviously, Mark played awesome up until the last round. He even still had
Right.
a pretty good finish, but um, I was reading today on Twitter. I think Ryan tweeted out something along the lines of like, that one or two shot swing cost him like 70 grand.
Yeah, what? Because he made like just over 20, right? Like 21,000.
Yeah, like 21,000. But I mean, what a ridiculous that had to be just unbelievable. One, you're at Pebble Beach. Two, you're playing on an exemption. Three, you played really well all weekend. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's got to be like as close as it gets to absolutely living the dream.
Yeah. And then jumping on a plane to go do the Monday queue today.
Right. And then going back to Hoagie, like what was it, like his 202nd start or something?
He hasn't won for what, 11 years, they said?
Yeah.
10,
And that
11
was like,
years.
yeah, and that was like on the Canadian tour.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talk about just like we talk about it's funny because we talk about like just stinking for like a couple months. Can you imagine
Right.
just grinding for however many years and then finally getting, a payday exempt, for exemption for X amount of years on the tour,
Right.
going to the Masters. Like, I mean,
Did you see his friend today? It was on Instagram. His buddy at home was watching it, and that his wife was filming it live. It was awesome to see like a friend's reaction, where it's like that's exactly what he said. He's getting into the Masters this year, stuff like that. So it's all obviously life changing. It's pretty cool to see.
yeah,
But that the putt on 17 that he made too was freaking. I couldn't believe he made that. That's when the video picked up of his friend watching him, just going nuts. It was awesome.
I was just gonna say it was that putt.
Mm-hmm.
And then he told his wife he was gonna get intoxicated later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be so cool to kind of have a you know skin in the game, so to speak, like a guy that's going through that. That's why it's so cool to follow along with Ryan and Mark. And I thought it was hilarious that the fire pit collection was there. The fire pit collection brigade, they were calling themselves.
Right.
And, they were kind of just live tweeting everything, putting up videos. They were getting all sorts of pushback from the PGA Tour and about censorship and videos. Like, it's just, to me, that's insane. And there's no difference between like you or I tweeting them
Sure.
that video and then them just sharing it. So like,
Well, they made the whole week. Like they made Twitter. I mean, Twitter's always fun. Golf Twitter obviously is awesome, but like they made the whole week like enjoyable because of Mark and Ryan, especially when they punked Ryan. I was dying laughing at that video.
dude, so funny. I mean, the best part, which I didn't find out until after, is that Mark was in on it. But when I was watching it, and he was like,
Oh, you didn't know that?
Not prior to.
Mm.
So when I watched it, and then Mark's like, well, if he's not in, I'm not in. And I thought that was super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, genuinely saying like, hey, he's my guy. If he's not here, I'm not here.
Right.
Like that was, he was going to bat for his guy. And then, of course, I found out after that Mark was in on the whole thing. But,
Right.
Ryan was probably shitting his pants. And, I'm sure he had a good laugh. They all probably had a really good laugh afterwards. But yeah, what a hell of a weekend. Let's talk about the tournament though. The tournament itself, I'm kind of over the whole, celebrity thing. Get Bill Murray out of here.
Right.
Get him out of here.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, you saw, I mean, it's obviously all the people that we follow on Twitter just saying like less of Bill Murray, more of Mark, like show us the feel good story, right?
Right. Exactly. And going back to our old pod, and this is where it stems from. That's why I don't think Caddy is funny.
Right.
He's not funny. Now he's just like so played out, and it's the same, act every year. And you know what? Know who he could take with him? He could take Carlton with him on his way out. So, get him out of here. If we're gonna keep doing it with like celebrities, at least get guys that are like good and want to be there. And
Carlton's not bad.
I was gonna say Carlton, I know is pretty good, but like,
yeah,
get Bill Murray out of here.
You just don't like to dance.
I just think it's the same act
I don't
year after year. Like, get my guy JT in there. Not Justin Thomas, but Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake, yeah, I gotcha.
You get some, make it fun that way. Get rid of the old heads. I mean, it was starting to bother me after a while.
Yeah, especially I think he was hurt too. They said like because when I was watching it on Thursday, I believe when they showed him a lot on the coverage. It was like he couldn't even bend down to put the ball on the tee.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is like they showed more of his shots than half the people in it.
Yeah, PGA Tour Live was pretty all over the celebs.
Right. I mean, and the other thing too is like I wouldn't mind just getting rid of the celebs altogether. Like, just give me Pebble Beach in the pros. Like, the tournament was awesome this weekend. I think that kind of diluted it a little bit. It was whatever. It was fun, but like it got to the point where I'm just like, come on, man. All right, go back to Spieth. I just kept saying that. Go back to Spieth or somebody else. Get this guy out of here. But for the most part, another solid tournament. Came down to pretty much the last couple holes, and we're in for a good one next week with the waste management. I don't know. I mean, I don't get the hate behind it. I mean, I kind of see it with like the fans getting rowdy. That's kind of like the same old act, but the tournament itself, I tend to enjoy the waste management. How about you?
I do like it a lot.
Yeah.
I find it it's fun to watch. It's always nice too with the Super Bowl weekend.
This is true.
But I like Arizona golf a lot, so that has to do with it a lot.
I was just gonna say I like seeing the different landscape of the desert in the waste management. I even love, every time I think of the waste management, I think about Tiger's hole-in-one at 16. That's like what always comes to mind. Him or like Ricky or who else? Or like Phil throwing footballs in the crowd.
Mhm.
Like that stuff's cool. But like, or actually Ricky when he was putting and they were chanting, Big Dick Rick.
Big Dick Rick. Yep.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, the waste management's pretty good. It seems like it's always a pretty good, tournament in itself.
Yeah, I mean, you got 16 and 17's a great next hole to follow up on, especially if it's close. People with the driving off the tee and everything like that. So no, I really do enjoy the waste management.
Right. All right. Let's circle back to the Tinley Park Golf Show. Let's
Okay.
let's
Should
hear.
we talk about Should we talk about your pants first,
We could talk
or,
about
or your no pants? I should say
no
that
pants.
did not show up.
That didn't show up. Fuck you, Lululemon. I ordered them on January 29th. It is February 7th. They're still not here. I did express shipping, which I thought was 2 days. To come find out, it was 2 to 4 days. Still, that should have been plenty of time to get there before, the 4th. So when I called and told them that they were in Tennessee somewhere, they said, okay, well, we could rebate you on your express shipping, but you'll pretty much just have to sit tight and wait. Asked about stores nearby. Everybody's apparently sold out. So these are hot pants. These are, everybody just must want them. I don't know. But yeah, I can't wait to call tomorrow. I'm gonna have a word with customer service, try to get maybe a free pair. Maybe
I don't blame you. I mean,
it's
I was, yeah, it stinks. But you know what? I was going to circle back to the AT&T because, today was Monday, a little rough with Jordan losing. And then what do I see on Twitter? I see the picture of Hoagie and Clint Eastwood with the trophy. And what is Clint Eastwood what is Clint Eastwood wearing, Tom?
he had corduroys on.
What color corduroys?
They were like green, olive.
No, they're brown, just like yours.
Mine aren't brown.
Those are brown.
Listen, I have them. I can go get them for you. They're not brown. They're like
But
they're like gray charcoal. They're not brown.
Either way, Clint Eastwood was wearing corduroys.
Hey, that's a guy who I want wearing corduroys. I mean, he understands the comfort of the corduroy. He doesn't want to mess around with wearing jeans, obviously.
But I would hope not. What is he, like 90?
Yeah, hey, don't hate it. But yeah, the Tinley Park show. What were your thoughts on the whole rundown, everything that was involved?
It's hard because obviously with COVID and everything like that, it was. I mean, I'm glad we did it, but it was kind of sad, because I can remember 5 years ago when it was just packed in there, right? You had multiple club vendors and you had a lot of different choices to walk through and pick through shoes or whatnot. So like walking in there on Saturday, it was like, oh man, this is, it's not what it used to be, obviously. But it was cool because, there wasn't a lot of vendors, but we were set up in a good spot where it was like people were walking by, talked to a lot of people, a lot of people were interested, but it was like cool to see people's excitement, questions that sometimes, something that we never think of, people were just asking and it's like, yeah, that makes sense. So I enjoyed it. I think it was good to be in front of people. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't like it used to be, but again, hopefully, next year it's better, but at least it was a start to, people getting back because you could still see some people's excitement about being there and at least getting to see what they got to see, not much there, but it was good enough to get, everybody excited about the golf season, I thought for sure.
Yeah, I would say that's a pretty spot on take. Pretty much aligns with everything I was going to say. Overall, it was a D in terms of like the show, maybe even an F. It was bad, but like,
yeah,
from our perspective, we've never been in front of anybody before. It's all been word of mouth or via social media. So to your point, it was great, just to be set up and to have, our whole display on hand and to be able to talk to people, especially new people that literally like had never heard of us. That was
right.
That was probably my favorite. We had a bunch of people walk by and say, "Oh yeah, I've seen you guys on Instagram or Twitter or whatnot." So that was also super cool. We had a lot of other people, other exhibitors come by and be like, "Oh yeah, hey, your guys' setup's great. Love what you guys are doing." Um, but in terms of like from a exhibitor perspective, it was, I mean, our booth was across from the American Legion and a gutter repair booth. So
Well, the leaf guards.
the leaf guard, yeah. So like it made our booth stand out, obviously, but
Yeah, right.
um, you know, and our booth was far and away, probably it was definitely the best setup. Like nobody else had like any kind of like marketing material
No,
in terms of like flag banners like we did. The hop up we had was super sick, but like, that was all great and everything. But getting back to talking to the people, that's obviously what we enjoy. So it was nice, especially like when there was a small crowd
hmm
in front of our table and people would come up and kind of just like catch on to the conversation that
sure.
we were already discussing with somebody else, and then they would have more questions. um there was multiple times where I had a guy in front of me for 20 minutes. He must have asked me 15 questions,
hmm
and like not your standard, frequently asked, like some
Right.
of the box that I thought were really good. um but then to see the response, like, wow, this is super cool, this is really creative, like, that's awesome you know um
Yeah, I thought it was cool. We heard a couple of times of like the guys that were looking, they play a lot of golf, but they're kind of looking for something competitive, but they didn't just want your normal Monday, Tuesday league, they were looking for something like this. So that was pretty cool to hear. And obviously, the one thing that we push on is the flexibility. So it was kind of funny to see people's
yeah,
reaction in person about like, oh, you get 2 weeks, really?
right,
I thought that was pretty cool. Like to see, like, oh man, that is a good idea, or wow, I have kids, that makes it easier. Not just an email from someone asking the question, but to see like the live reaction. That was like, oh yeah, that's why it's easy. That's why this does work, is because we do have that flexibility.
right. And that was, so to your point, like, that was some of my favorite ones, where I would say, just like a group of guys walking by, "Hey fellas, how you doing? Have you heard of the Chicago Golf Tour?" And they would say, "We don't have time for that." That like, you couldn't walk into a better situation.
hmm
"Oh, you don't
hmm
have, oh, you don't have 2 weeks to play?" And then they'd be like,
hmm
"Wait, what?" Like, it was
hmm
just, so once, and you're right, once people found that out, that was a huge draw. And then obviously once they kind of dove into it, a lot of people thought it was super neat how we run it pretty much parallel with the PGA Tour, and how we have regular events, majors, a playoff, a championship, and then how we have the FedEx Cup point system, and also like the end of the year purse and payouts. And so yeah, it was super awesome to see
hmm
people's genuine responses. That got us fired up. And we were essentially just like pacing back and forth all day, just waiting to jump on whoever, wanted to walk by and talk shop with us.
Except the guy that kept on coming back for the teas.
Yeah, Rob spotted a guy who he probably made 4 or 5 trips through and acted like he was new every time, just to pick up a couple free teas off the table. But
He stuck them in different pockets every time too. I was
yeah,
dying laughing.
the older guy with the mask, right?
Yeah, with the canvas jacket.
Yeah, yeah. But it was fun overall for us. Obviously we can't complain. It was our first year, but if there was anything to complain about, it was just the lack of. I mean, we probably had like a solid hour and a half to 2 hours of good traffic each day. Maybe besides Friday, it was pretty ghost town after like the first hour, but Saturday, Sunday early was good, and then it pretty much cleared out, and by the end of the show, everybody was by the long putting contest. So, but overall, it was a good experience, I think, for us,
Yeah,
to get out there and, get the word out, continue to get it
sure.
out. But yeah, I mean, we were talking about, so during some of the downtime that we had there, we were talking about potentially doing, because as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, I'm sure you do though, Rosemont is canceled as of last week or the week before. So Rob and I were discussing potentially doing a virtual Chicago golf show, on our IG Live, or even doing a
The
Zoom
Zoom.
call. Yeah.
Yep.
And then somehow tying that into next week's, or not next week's, but the end of the month's podcast.
Hmm.
So we're thinking about putting the entire Zoom call on the podcast. So
Yeah, we're kind of just maybe even like an open forum for questions and whatnot. So
literally, it would be just like this, but with hopefully 60 other people.
yeah,
Um,
so
yeah, so that's going to be super cool. Just another way we could, kind of dismiss the whole cancellation of the Chicago Golf Show, but still be able to, kind of give you guys a virtual, exhibit, I guess.
yeah,
Answer any questions that you guys have.
break down maybe
Um,
the schedules, stuff like that. Could have
yeah,
fun with it. Get
yeah,
everybody excited for the season.
right, right. Speaking of schedules, we're close, man. I hate to be, the bearer of bad news and say they're not finalized yet, but um, what didn't help us is the Orlando show down in Florida, the PGA show. So there was a ton of head pros, GMs. So I found out that those guys get like X amount of PGA hours if they go to that stuff. So, and
Mm.
plus, it's all paid for. Of course, those guys are going to go. And, who knows if they even actually went to the show, but that's here nor there. So a lot of those guys were gone for a week. I'm sure, guys with families probably use that as a vacation. Um, and then the snow. I mean, we got pounded with snow. Guys weren't in. I literally didn't hear back from like, I heard from like two courses all last week,
Hmm.
in the week, in maybe the week before. Like it was a dead zone. It was like a huge dead zone the last couple of weeks. So um, things picked back up today. Um, I will pretty much guarantee this. They will be done by next episode. That's a 100,000% confirmation.
That's a time guarantee, huh?
That's a guarantee.
Mm.
Because like I said, it's literally, I think we're waiting on one or two guys to get back to us and, to finalize details. So um, I will tell you this though, the West Side tour is done.
West Side Tour is done, and it looks good.
Yeah, Rob was jonesing on Saturday to talk about it. And then before we jumped on tonight, he said he looked it over again and he basically, got a big stiffy looking at it. So
I'm a big. I like to go to their website, stare at the pictures.
yeah. So but yeah, the West Side's done. It's the South Side and one North Side. So, to be completely, transparent with you guys, it will be done next Monday, guaranteed. So, um, other than that, we're just going to keep pounding the pavement, social media. We're going to do some, giveaways in the next couple of weeks in terms of memberships, try to keep growing that. We're also going to reach out to you guys to help us do that because of the Rosemont show being canceled. So we're going to kind of lean on our members, to continue to, pass on the emails, pass on the social media, stuff like that, just so, we can kind of recoup some of what could have been,
Sure.
the Rosemont.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, what a weekend.
Yeah, no, like we said, it was good. It was cool to see all different age groups too. I thought that was awesome. You had a lot of young kids. You had guys our age. You had some older guys, but I think it was well rounded. You know, and then obviously a couple guys talking about the Scratch Series. They got excited about that, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And talking to other vendors, exhibitors, guys from the area, guys who've kind of been in the game for a while. Speaking of, Dave from the Golf Chicago magazine, that just reminded me.
I was just going to say something. Yep.
Yeah. So you guys who get the issue, you'll see a nice spread in there about us. That should be in households as of Wednesday, I believe he told me. Their truck got stuck down in like St. Louis. So the February issue of the Golf Chicago magazine, which they have about 80,000 members. So that hopefully can carry us, can carry a little bit of the weight from Rosemont. But we were sent that article via PDF. It looks great.
It does look good. Yeah.
It's a great little spread. So hopefully guys, see that. We're actually going to probably get that out to, our partners, like all of our ex-golf partners, which Orland Park was at the Tinley Park show, John from ex-golf. Who else did we have there that we're partners with? I think that was it as far as partners, but it was just good to go around and, like I said, talk to people that have kind of been in this space for a while and kind of get their opinion, perspective on where everything's going. A lot of guys kind of weren't surprised by this, which I'm really not either, especially with all that's been going on with COVID. And but I think the bigger story here is like, to me, in terms of like marketing dollars and what's been going on in terms of digital marketing, like I feel like these companies don't need to do that anymore. Like, they'd rather put money into digital marketing, which in my opinion is smarter.
Well, you have all the influencers and all that stuff now that does their their dirty work.
Right. And I guess if you're looking to change a brand, say you're a Titleist guy, whatever, and you're looking to go to Mizuno, most likely you're going to go to like your local shop and demo that club. Like, do people really go to these places just to demo clubs? Or is it more just for, merch and
Yeah. I feel like, we joked about it, seeing those guys walking around with those full sets of clubs, new set of irons, well, not new, but used. But I think it's more of those guys that might be just starting off with golf, or, not looking to spend $1,000 on a new set of irons, right? So.
True. My thing is just with like what they've been doing recently with, some of this advertising, like it's so in depth to where like you could even go to like Titleist or even Bridgestone's website and get fitted digitally for whether that's a ball or a club. Like you could look at specs of the clubs. They have videos. Like, I don't know. I kind of get why, maybe it's kind of going away, but some people just like the live, in-person experience, which I totally get, but I could also see why some of these companies aren't spending millions and millions of dollars to be there.
Well, I mean, look at the Stealth. Perfect example.
Right.
Because everybody on Instagram opening up the boxes, people just go to the PGA Superstore and hit it,
Well, how about, I thought it was pretty fascinating. I forget who told us, but basically this guy was telling us about the PGA show down in Orlando, and he was like, do you guys even know how big it is? And we're like, no, I mean, we know it's massive, but like, so he said if you walked every
it's golf,
like if you
golf magazine.
Yeah, was it Dave?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was Dave.
So he was like, if you walk every single aisle, like, you zigzag back and forth, so it's a combined 6 miles.
6 miles, yeah.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
I mean,
That's going away. Yeah, that's nuts.
That's huge. So I get it. Like that's a huge, it's a huge impact on the golf industry. But whatever. That's my whole take on it. I don't think they'll be back for quite a while, to be honest. But to your point, the stealth, yeah, send a guy a paint can and a new driver and tell him to share it. And guess what? You got 5,000 new orders.
Yeah, I mean, just blew up. So
right. So that actually takes us into the waste management. Book it with T picks. Who do you like this week, Rob?
You're gonna make fun of me, but man, Spieth, I feel like because this is one last year.
Shocker.
Shocker. But this is, I mean, he played good last year at Phoenix. Didn't he shoot a 61 on Saturday? Was that last year or something like that?
I don't remember.
But anyways, I like Spieth, and then of course, being going to ASU, I like Rombo.
Yeah. I'll tell you who I like, who's not on T's list here, only because I saw some stats today. Although I don't think he's won there, is JT. So he's like first in every category. But anyhow, I roll with T. So
I mean, he had Cantley and Spieth last week, and they were good on Sunday until Cantley, man, he shit the bed.
Yeah. It was probably those sweet khakis he was wearing.
No, those blue ones are awesome. It was the polo that was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, all right. Well, we have the waste management book it with T picks. His long shot, Cam Davis, 130-1. Next up, your boy, Ricky, 80-1.
He's got Ricky on there?
Ricky Fowler, 80-1.
What year did he win?
Maybe 7 years ago. Actually, it's probably more than that. Anyways, next up, 35-1, Webb Simpson. 25-1, Scheffler. And his favorite to win the waste management is Victor Hovland, 16-1. And you could book it with T.
I like Victor.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of
2016, it was 2016.
Yeah. So what, 6 years?
Oh, yeah. 6 years ago. Yeah.
We had another tournament. You know what tournament I'm talking about?
Dude, when I woke up Sunday morning and saw that on Twitter, that was the best celebration reaction I've seen.
Talking about HV3.
Oh, yeah.
Harold Varner III, the Saudi. Funny because Rob said, "Did you see his celebration?" I said, "Yeah, it was awesome," because you could tell, like, obviously that's a big putt for him because it's a 2-putt to get him in the playoff, right? So you don't want to be like super confident. You kind of want to snuggle it up there and get it somewhat close for tap in, but it was awesome how it just like dropped and then he saw it go in, and then that's when he went nuts.
He didn't. He was a statue. Didn't move as soon as he hit the putt. He was like, I don't even think he blinked. It was like,
what I thought was pretty cool, and I don't know what it is. Maybe this guy found something, but I feel like Bubba over the last like 5 years has been less of a dick, and he's starting to come around. Yeah. Did you hear the story about this?
Well, I saw that. He said he was happy for him, and he wants him to win and everything like that. So I thought that was pretty cool.
He ran down 18's fairway to come congratulate him.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, because he was going to go to a playoff with him.
Right.
So Bubba was already in, and then somehow he was like back by the first tee, and he ended up running down 18's fairway to like hug the guy he was about to get in the playoff with. And
But it must be because they're Jordan brothers.
yeah, probably. I mean, I know they're pretty close because literally that night they had a picture together, like having dinner or whatever. Like that's super cool to me. But like I said, I think Bubba, I don't know, maybe he's just getting older and kind of, doesn't need to kind of put on that act anymore. And because I've heard he's, and I don't even know how true this is, but like back in the day, I heard he was kind of a dick, just kind of like he didn't really talk to anybody, he kind of kept to himself.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think he's been,
Kids change it, Tom.
yeah, hey,
Kids change it.
I think he's been coming around. But yeah, hilarious that like the whole Saudi thing like was brought up, and like that's the last tournament like you wanted to have that putt happen in.
Right,
So
right,
it like didn't resurface.
right.
So,
Yeah, I like him a lot though. Like especially he just had a kid too, and it's like I think I saw a few times on Twitter different people saying like this might be, it's probably just like no duh, but this might be the thing that just helps him now realize that he is a good player, that he could win over here, type deal thing.
so speaking of the Saudis, what is your stance on this whole Super League and the whole thing going on with Phil and the PGA Tour media rights and so forth?
To me, I'm not too much into it. I feel it's like Phil just trying to get his last cash grab, that he can get while he's still up top. But I mean, I don't really pay attention to it. I can't see how they can be banned from playing, the majors, being talked about that. So, but like I said, I don't put too much time into researching or even reading articles about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I kind of was the same way. Teddy almost took my light down. I was kind of the same way about it, but then I did want to kind of learn as much as possible, so I jumped in this article. And I'm probably going to butcher these numbers too because there was a lot of numbers in it. But like, so I get Phil's side of it. I do get it being in the clause, whatever. Should it not be in the clause? Probably not. For them not to be able to have rights to their own media is kind of ridiculous. But it's the same way with like the Olympics, and I think there's only one other thing like that where like they have zero rights to media. Then again, like so PGA Tour players are essentially subcontractors, right? They're getting 1099. So the PGA Tour would realistically be a contractor. So I just don't get where all this money's going. Like I feel like there's a ton of money just like not being accounted for. So they said that the PGA Tour does in media like 2 billion, I think, a year, and they said, yeah, not in just media, just in revenue, and that's like, so they said 3/4 of that is like purses and sponsorships, blah blah blah, and media only makes up like 5% of that. And I'm like, that doesn't sound right, because then they're talking about, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of numbers thrown around, and I'd rather just not butcher them. I'll try to find that article, but like, yeah, a lot of things just didn't make sense to me, and so I agree with you to a point that Phil, he's kind of on his way out, and he may be leveraging something for a potential, last minute grab, but like, why not? I think he's also trying to help pave the way for like some of the younger guys, but then you had Brooks kind of call him out.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Brooks was a turd. I mean, I don't even get, like, why would he even say anything? Like, why wouldn't he just be like, yeah, sure, Phil, help us get, $100 million contracts.
Pip,
Like,
man, it's the Pip.
But so that's the other thing too, like Phil being greedy, like the Pip was a PGA Tour grab to like keep Tiger and Phil around. Like That's not Phil's problem that he's awesome at social media and that he happened to win it. Like the PGA Tour came up with the PIP, and that's another thing. Like, think about this: the PIP was what, $40 million or $60 million, something like that.
I think it's 40.
Yeah, I mean, just think about that alone. Like, the PGA Tour has a $40 million just expense they could throw at the PIP when the Corn Ferry Tour and the LPGA and all these other tours are like lacking in dollars. Like the PGA Tour has so much money, they don't even know what to do with. But that's the thing. Like, where's this money going? And then you have all these digital assets. Like, who is cooping off of that? So I don't know. There's a lot of shadiness going on, but um, your boy Lee and DJ, and there's a couple other guys that signed an NDA, and I wonder what's up with that. Although Bryson said his $135 million deal wasn't
Yeah,
it wasn't even true. So like, I don't know what to believe, but I think something will come of whether that's the Super League or the PGL or whatever.
right.
I know what's it's either Live or Live, big investment company that dumped like 300 mil into the Premier Soccer League last year. They're Saudi backed. They just dumped like 200 million into the PGL, like today or yesterday. So there's a lot of people that think that that's going to happen. They have a massive portfolio, so it's like legit. They've invested like 4 billion in the last couple of years. So I think one way or another it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's closer to happening than people thought it was 2 years ago when it was brought up.
Right. And then I was thinking about the other day, like if you're a Corn Ferry guy, or if like you're on any of the developmental tours, like, are you thinking like, hey man, I hope like these guys go. Hey, that just opens up more space for me. Or like, I'm just curious how that's going to work in the long run.
Right.
Is it going to create more opportunities for guys that are only missing by that probably should be on the PGA Tour, but just haven't put it together at the right time. I People talk about like the parity in the NFL all the time, and I always sit back and I wonder. I'm like, there's guys on the street that could be playing in the NFL. It's just they missed their window. Like I think a lot of it's just about timing. Obviously the draft, blah blah blah. But again, we're not a football podcast, so that was kind of just my analogy. But anyhow, we digress.
We digress.
Yes. So we had the book it with T-Picks. We talked Tinley Park Golf Show. We talked AT&T Pro-Am. We talked a little bit about the CGT virtual golf show exhibitor, however you want to talk. Oh, we were talking about possibly doing it in the garage.
Yeah, simulator.
Yeah, in front of the sim, hit some balls, maybe get some guys over and play a little par 3 shootout or something like that. I think that would be a nice little change of pace for the podcast.
Sure.
Yeah, that moves us right into the top 3. Rob,
Okay.
are you ready for the top 3?
Sure.
Okay.
What is your top 3? Question.
So I want to know. You brought it up earlier, which was bizarre. I want to know your top 3 favorite golf shoes.
My favorite golf shoes?
Yes, like they could be, I guess. Let's go with brands.
Oh man, that's a. All right. Well, I do have to admit I'm not a big fan of their clothing, but the G4s, I bought those, I don't know, 2-3 years ago, and I still have them. and it feels like you're walking on a pillow.
Mhm.
The saddle shoes. I like those a lot. Those are good. I don't like that they're spikeless, but they're comfortable for walking. I just bought big Jordan guy now. I got the big Jordan guy. Got the Jordan 1 lows 2 weeks ago, and I have those as regular gym shoes. So I'm pretty excited because they are made for like wide feet, and I have wide feet, so they're pretty comfortable. So I'm pretty pumped to wear those. Then, man, what would be my top one? I'd have to go back with Jordans. I got Jordan 5s from last year. Man, they're comfortable. So those have to be my number ones.
So you have Jordans in the number 2 and the number 1,
Oh yeah,
or just two different Jordan types?
two different types. I got the
Okay.
1s and then the 5s.
Okay.
I would have to say I never had the Ignites. I've always wanted to try those, but it's always hard to find size 14s. But
Yeah.
all I hear is good things about those. And then, back when remember when, God dang, it was like 6, 7 years ago when those the Echoes got pretty popular.
Yep. I had them.
Yeah, they never, because they're UK sizes, so I think they only went up to like what, a 13. I
Yeah.
can never find a 14. I've always wanted to try those. So
So actually brings up a really good. Ivan. So I got him when is Justin Rose still with Echo?
no, I don't think so.
So it was when him and Freddie Couples were
Pretty couple and Ernie Els too.
yeah, they were like the low cut brown ones with like the
Mhm.
green. They were awesome. They were super
Mhm.
comfy. Those were probably like yeah, I thought I never wore spikeless before, but I guess I have now that I think about it.
When Freddie had those on at the Masters when they first had them out, those things
Yeah.
were awesome.
Dude, they are super comfy. I
Mhm.
had them. I believe I had them in Florida. That's why I got them. But
They should be for over $200.
yeah, they were awesome. I would probably say in the 3-hole, I'm gonna go with just good old FootJoy. I like a good FootJoy.
Oh, the DNAs, you're right. Damn it. Those are awesome.
Yeah, whether it's spikeless, spike, even just like their casual shoe, whether it's a glove. I just think a lot of people hate FootJoy. I think they have good stuff. I think they have a lot
Mhm.
of like old, just like terrible shit too. I mean, a lot
They
of
have the best they have the best polo for bigger guys like myself.
I think I've heard that before.
They're nice. They're long. That's why they're
So
nice.
so that's what I was gonna get at. Like a lot of their spikes are just kind of just like gross. Like I can't believe whoever's designing those is allowed to make them. But then on the flip side of that, like some of their running shoes or just like their casual shoes are super sick. So it's like, why don't you just put spikes on the bottom of those? But I would say primarily like a lot of the FootJoy stuff that I have is just like it's more gear, like rain windbreaker.
Hmm.
Those FootJoys are awesome. Whether it's like a bucket head or whatever. Anyways, yeah, FootJoy would be in my 3-hole. 2 would probably be Nike. Yeah, big Nike guy. Here's the other thing. I'm gonna split that with like Nike Tiger Woods.
Okay.
So yeah, I've had some rain some rain golf shoes I've had from Nike that were pretty nice. Still have them. Haven't worn them in a couple years, but and then the old school, dude, I still try to find them. I'll go on eBay or some of these other sites and literally look for like the 2012 Tiger Woods.
Yes. The
But,
12, the 13s. Yes.
yeah, the white ones.
Well, I always wanted the black and red ones, even though,
Yeah, they're,
again, not
they're
a big.
primarily white, but they're like black, red, and white.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're insane.
And that's all. I never got them, but that's all I heard was they're like the most. Didn't Casey say that too? I'm pretty sure Casey said that too.
I don't know, but I can't find. I've never been able to.
Yeah.
And then number 1, no brainer, is Puma.
again, I've heard nothing but good things about those Ignites.
Yeah, I almost pulled the trigger on the new model this year, but I waited. I held off. I had some restraint.
Well, now that you're not getting those Lululemon pants, maybe you could just go buy those.
True, very true. The new models, I mean, they look similar to the last couple of years, but like,
Sure.
different colors, but they're just so comfy.
How are those with the dew or like the rain?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the traction pattern or however the spikes are laid out, I think is a good, it's a good fit. Speaking of, like, have you seen some of, like, I know Nike does it, because I've seen them on Brooksy, but like, have you seen those like new spikes lately that are just like massive? They're almost like,
It's one. Yeah. So I ordered those last year those for the trip to Michigan.
yeah,
I didn't try them on. I just ordered them and threw them in the trunk, and then we headed up to the treetops
right.
and got out of the trunk, and I took it out, and it's literally the back heel is just one huge circle spike.
Yeah, see that? Did you even wear them?
Well, I couldn't because first off, I bought 15 wides and they're not wide. They didn't even fit. They were terrible. That's where it's like, it's funny because like Jordans, I feel like are made for wide feet,
Yeah,
but every other Nike shoe, golf shoe, I can't wear because it's just too narrow. I mean, but yeah, it's literally, it looks like,
it's a sauce.
yeah, you're right. It's exactly, it's just one big ass spike, but the problem is it's molded. So you can never replace it.
Right. Well, that's another thing. Have you ever replaced one of your spikes before?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like especially with my FootJoys, like I used to have the DNAs. I think I
Yeah.
still have them in the garage. I would change them out every year.
Yeah. See, primarily, I'm a new shoe guy every year. I'd rather just get new ones.
It's just paper, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. Plus,
I mean,
you gotta, you gotta get excited for something. You gotta look good. You gotta have fresh, clean stuff.
you don't clean your shoes. Well, you do clean your spikes.
Yeah, I mean, I have to wash them because
Sure.
especially early on in the year, like when it's raining out and it's like all gross and wet out. You gotta wash your spikes.
I,
Did you ever
I,
did you ever play in that type of, whether it's like a hot summer day or if it's raining out and then leave them in your car and then get in the car like 2 days later? It's brutal.
well, that's solely reason why I bought golf shoe bags.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of them in the trunk, but usually wash the shoes right after, wipe them down right after the round, anyways.
Bonus, a real quick bonus top three. What is the worst top three smells in golf? I'll go first. Shoes in the car. Shoes in the car. Shoes in the car is one. I'll go glove 3, dirty ass towel 2, shoes in the car 1.
Right. So yeah, or it's even worse leaving the push cart in. Like for instance, if you played first thing in the morning and you don't clean off the tires,
Oh, they reek.
and you get all that wet grass smell. Because if you leave it in on a summer day, it's terrible. But no, towel, glove, shoes. Yeah, I would have to agree.
Yeah. Are we talking like lawnmower smell? Like lawnmower grass smell? Or like
No. Like
bird shit and grass?
Yeah, right, exactly. Like, because like for instance, when you're playing, like I think Glen Woody's a perfect example.
Like coarse sewage water.
Yeah, exactly. Like it gets into the tracks of the tires, and then you try to get it off, and then for instance, you come home, you kind of forget that it's in the trunk, and then it's a hot summer day, and then you open up the trunk, you're like, oh god, and you just hose it down.
What a great little bonus top three there.
Yeah.
Excellent. Great episode. Again, another edition. We look forward to next week because we're going to deliver the schedules as promised.
Promise.
As promised.
Guarantee.
So,
Guarantee.
Until next time, Rob, we'll see you in the fairway.
See you in the fairway, Tom.
See you, buddy.